Is family important in your country?
Thank you for this question. Well, people in my country believe that family comes first and they put their family ahead of anything else. They would do anything for the family, and I am proud that family bonding in my country is quite strong.
How has the size of the family changed in the last few decades in your country?
From my experience, I can say that my grandfather had an extended family and people at that time used to live together with close relatives. As far as I have heard, their forefathers also live in a joint family and the number of family members was sometimes more than 20. However, the trend of living in an extended family has changed remarkably in cities where most of the families are nuclear in nature. The villages in my country still have large families who live together, but the number is shrinking day by day.
How do you think the family will change in the future?
I believe more people will have a nuclear family and the size of the family will be small in the future. People do not like to have more than 2 children nowadays, and who knows, they will consider having one baby policy in the distant future. The very norm that a man gets married to a woman and have their own children to form a family is being challenged by the concept of same-sex marriage, and this trend will increase in the future.
What role do grandparents play in the family in your country?
Grandparents in a family are like the pillars of virtue and they play an important role. They maintain a balance for the family by nurturing the old traditions and values and teach how to adhere to the roots. With the increasing number of both working parents, grandparents often look after the children. They often advise the rest of the family time to time regarding family matters, as they have more experience, and thus their advice often saves us from taking wrong decisions. From this sense, they act like reliable mentors.
Who do you think should be responsible for the care of the elderly, the family or the government?
I believe the family has the major responsibility to look after their elder family members and support them personally as they did in their youth age. These senior citizens have sacrificed a lot throughout their lives to form a family and then to make them happy. The young members should do everything in their power to accompany their elder members and provide them with their necessities. Having said that, the government has some responsibilities as well. These elder members were once taxpayers and thus they deserve health care, entertainment and other facilities from the state.
Why is the number of joint families decreasing in modern time?
I believe the city-centric life, which is highly competitive and busy, has diminished the concept of joint family and created the nuclear family. Besides the urban influence, ever-increasing inflation, our affection towards a materialistic life and less inclination towards the traditions and values have ended up making our own nuclear family.
Why are some sports fans so passionate?
I believe some people love sports than other forms of entertainment and competition, and they always follow their favorite sports on TV. Watching and playing sports is their favorite leisure activity, while many of those passionate fans once were players themselves and played the game in their youth. Growing up, they see their family, friends, and city go wild when a goal is scored or a game is won. So, it's natural to follow others' enthusiasm and cheer for their local teams. Such attachment often increases their love for sports. In my country, many youths are ardent fans of football and they have their favorite teams. When their favorite team plays, they take every opportunity to support them and sometimes go to the stadium to show their support. Sportsmen are often idolized by youths and they love to follow their favorite sportsmen as enthusiastic followers.
Is there any violence at sporting events in your country?
Generally speaking, such violence is very rare in my country. However, a dispute among fans are quite common, and most of the time they are verbal than physical. They often take social networking platforms and blogs to criticize their rivals. I can, however, recall a very unfortunate event that took place probably 3 or 4 years ago when the fans of 2 competing teams got agitated and 3 people died due to this incident while several others were critically injured. The security of the stadium has been revamped to address such unexpected events, and hopefully, it wouldn't happen again.
Should athletes be better role models?
I believe most fans start adoring an athlete or a sportsman due to the spectacular performance he or she shows. Thus football magicians like Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi have several million fans, and many of them started idolizing them without knowing them personally. However, when these youths start following their favorite sportsmen or athletes, they sometimes follow them blindly. Thus, considering the impact, famous sports personalities should always try to lead exemplary lives as thousands of others mimic them. They are also famous and the media is always watching them. Any bad conduct can bring controversy to their fame, and they should try to become better role models for youths, as it is a social and moral responsibility for any celebrity.
What benefits do international sporting events bring?
International sporting events bring nations together and eliminate the tension and hostility among them. Such an event is highly popular and can be a great reason for people to enjoy the competition in the stadium. Thus, such competitions foster tourism and help local businesses to flourish. Such prestigious events sometimes encourage young children all around the world to take some sort of sports. This is good for spreading the essence of sports globally, and I think sports have economic, political and cultural impacts on society.
Is it important for a country to win lots of medals?
I believe every country wants to win as many trophies as possible, since it represents how great a nation is in sports and athleticism. Being at the top of the medal list is often considered a great achievement, but I personally believe that it is not absolutely necessary. Participating in international sporting events like the Olympics is often inspiring for many small nations. A few medals could be often satisfying and inspiring for them. The most important thing in international sporting competition is being able to perform and enjoy it, not the number of medals won. When athletes and sportsmen from all around the world gather at a common platform, they not only represent their own country but also the whole humanity, and this is important for maintaining global peace and harmony.
The money professional sportsmen earn is significantly higher than the earning of other professionals. Is it justified?
I think a very few fortunate sports celebrities earn a hefty amount of money while most others do not. Considering the training, dedication, challenge and sacrifice that are part of their lives, the earning, in my opinion, is justified. We have to keep in mind that their career is short-spanned and they earn because they perform really well. The payment to those celebrities is high because people buy tickets when they perform, and different companies that earn millions of dollars each, they want them as brand ambassadors. Since these payments are legit and transparent, I do not see any problem if they earn a lot.
How do people in your country feel about protecting historic buildings?
I believe people from my country would want to protect and preserve important historic buildings, except maybe a few who put business ahead of their morality and rational thinking. We had our moments when people spontaneously protested the plan to demolish such sites in the past. Due to a huge public backlash and outcry, the authority had been forced to abandon their plan to build multi-storied commercial buildings by smashing the old buildings that have historical significance. Thus, citizens in my country are sensitive about protecting anything that has historical importance.
Do you think an area can benefit from having an interesting historic place locally? In what way?
Definitely, an area with an interesting historic place can reap the benefits from different perspectives. First, such a place would attract a huge number of tourists and help grow different local businesses. Besides, such areas are strategically important for the local government, and it can bring more development projects to the area. The government takes extra measures to protect such areas from natural disasters and thus get more attention. On top of that, the flourishing tourism of the area spreads the local custom and tradition to other parts of the country. Thus, the development of such a region occurs faster than other areas.
What do you think will happen to historic places or buildings in the future? Why?
That is hard to tell, and all would depend on the future generation. If they feel that such locations and buildings are worth preserving, the authority would take steps to protect them. Otherwise, many of them, which are less internationally known, would disappear and would be converted to ultra-modern commercial buildings. Prominent sites, on the other hand, would be preserved as they will attract many international tourists. Some of them will be debilitated due to the lack of maintenance, and a few new ones would emerge as historic places and buildings in the distant future. The main reason some of the historic places and building will disappear is that they are less popular and can't sell tickets to tourists. So the authority or the owner would like to convert them for business purpose. The urbanization, pollution and the need for more buildings for the increasing population are threats to such historic sites.
How were you taught history when you were at school?
Our teachers mainly taught us history from the textbooks, and we were lucky to have a few amazing teachers who explained how history is important to understand the future. They often explained important events and characters from history and told us how these events and powerful men have shaped future events. We were required to study history books and watch documentaries made on real historical facts, and those were not included in our syllabus. Thus we were able to learn more about history. Our school authority took us to different museums and historic sites, generally 2 to 3 times a year, and those excursions were our chances to explore more and witness the artifacts from the past. I can recall one particular occasion when we were taken to a war museum and we learned how wars that we hate so much had such profound impacts on our human society.
Are there other ways people can learn about history, apart from at school? How?
I believe reading about history and researching them online is the best way to learn more about it. What we learn about history in our school is just the beginning. To truly explore the past, we need to read a lot of books, and the book choices should be based on the interests of the readers. The internet is an amazing tool that can help us learn about our past, and the interactive videos found on different websites are truly helpful. It offers us to dive deeper into history. Finally, traveling is an excellent way to learn about the world we live in and how this world was shaped by different civilizations. Someone who travels extensively learns about history faster and witness history instead of assuming them.
Do you think history will still be a school subject in the future? Why?
I believe history is not merely a collection of past events, stories of civilizations and powerful characters. It is rather a way to look at the future. Thus the importance of history in the future will increase, and more students would be interested to learn about it than today. We are yet to comprehend the full potential of history, and it is still frowned upon as a subject for weaker students. But in the future, we will realize how important it is for people to learn it for a prosperous future. So I do not see any reasons history will disappear from the school syllabus.